Hey there, welcome to geometry class. Good to be with you again. I'm just going to start and dive right into this lesson here. Okay, so we're talking about perimeter and area of triangles and parallelograms today. So you'll see that it is in lesson 11.1 and 2 in the textbook, so pages 779 through 782 and also 789 onward. Okay, our essential question and objective for this lesson is I want you to be able to find the perimeter and area of parallelograms, triangles, trapezoids, rhombi, and kites. Okay, so I'm going to teach you all of that. That's my goal. We're going to review how to calculate perimeter, and then we're going to learn the formulas used to calculate the areas of a parallelogram, a triangle, trapezoid, rhombus, and a kite. Okay, so just a really quick tip here. If something passes you by, if you want to look in your textbook, this little symbol right here, this little pink PT text box, if you click on those or tap on them with your iPad, you should be able to access a short video describing the problem. All the example problems have these videos. If for some reason you don't understand what I'm saying, that's okay. You can always message me and ask me, or you can click on this and it should give you a pretty good example of what I'm talking about as well. Okay, so let's look here. Perimeter and area of triangles and parallelograms. First, we're going to just describe perimeter, the sum of the distance around the exterior. So the sum of the distance around the exterior of any shape, and really what we need to do in order to calculate this is to add the sides of the shape, and that's how we get the perimeter. Okay, so the perimeter right here, how would we calculate that? Okay, we've got 10 on this side and 4 on this side. In a parallelogram, we actually know, even though it doesn't give us these two sides right here, because they are parallel, that also means that the opposite sides are the same length. So this side is 10, that means this side is 10. This is 4, that means this is also 4. So the perimeter is going to be 10 plus 10 plus 4 plus 4. That equals 28 inches. Okay, pretty simple, straightforward. I'm sure you remember that after looking at it just quickly. Area is the sum of all the space inside a shape. And here's a couple of examples of formulas for our different shapes we're talking about today. So we're talking about a parallelogram, a triangle, a trapezoid, and rhombi or kites. Okay, so the formulas are here. This is one of these pages that I would recommend screenshotting. It is in your textbook as well, or you could take a screenshot of this video and save this for your reference as you work with these. This is going to be some of the formulas that you're going to need for your quiz. I would recommend writing them down and having them handy because you're going to need them for the work as we do this video as well. Alright, and just a quick description of why the area of a parallelogram works. So we have here A equals B times H. B stands for base and H stands for height. So the reason that this works, it kind of shows you here, if we drew a height right here to the vertex of an angle at the parallelogram, okay, we draw this perpendicular line right there, it creates a right triangle, doesn't it? Okay, and if we take that right triangle and we shift it over to the other side, it makes a nice little triangle right here. Or triangle, makes a nice little rectangle right here. This rectangle, it's easy to calculate the area of a rectangle. You probably remember that. That's pretty much the same as this right here. Area equals base times height. That's pretty much the same way that you calculated the area of a rectangle way back in elementary school as well. So kind of just working with that same thing. So let's come back here. We'll calculate the area of this parallelogram. Okay, so if you have this, how can we calculate it? Our formula is A equals B times H. Okay, so our base, what is our base going to be? And then our height is up here, 5 inches right here. So let's look at how exactly we can calculate this. A equals B times H. We've got 10 times 5. So our area is going to be 50 inches squared, or 50 square inches fit into this parallelogram right here. So let's try another one. We're going to do a few of these. Okay, calculate the perimeter and area of this parallelogram. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is pause this video, pull up again your quick notes or write it on a piece of paper. I want you to pause this and do this problem. Okay, and hopefully you took the moment to do that. You should, if you're being honest. So we'll calculate the area of this really quickly, the perimeter and area. So let's do perimeter first. Okay, perimeter. Perimeter is really just the sum of the exterior. So 21 and 17 are our two side lengths. So 21 and 21, 17 and 17. Add those together and we get 76 centimeters. Now our formula for calculating area is A equals B times H. Okay, our height right here. We don't know what this height is. How do we find that height? Do you guys remember? Any memory of that? Okay, maybe you did remember. Okay, we've got the Pythagorean theorem. This is a right triangle, so we've got this Pythagorean theorem working for us. We've got a squared right here, 8 squared, b squared. We don't know that one, but we do know our hypotenuse, or our c squared. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we've got 8 squared plus b squared equals 17 squared. And when you essentially do 17 squared minus 8 squared, you're left with b squared. Should be 225, and the square root of 225 is 15. Okay, so b equals 15, which in this instance, not to get these mixed up, this is our base. This was just b from this equation. B right here is actually going to be our h up here. So 21 times 15, 21, that's our b. H right here was 15, and we get 315 centimeters squared. So hopefully, even after that last problem, you were able to almost kind of figure that out. I know some of these are going to be a little bit more tricky. You're going to have to think through some of these Pythagorean theorem. Try to find one of these lengths in the triangle that parallelograms will make. Okay, so remember that as we come up to some of these problems. All right, like this one. So I want you to find the perimeter and the area of this parallelogram. So one more just like this. Find the perimeter and the area of this parallelogram. So pause the video. All right, hopefully you solved that. Took the time to solve it. If not, you should have. So calculate the perimeter. Okay, so we've got 23 right here, and then we don't actually know this side yet, do we? So we can actually find this side right here, which will correspond to this side. They're congruent. So this side and this side are congruent. This side and this side are congruent. So we can actually find it, again, using that Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we've got 24 squared plus 7 squared is going to equal 25. So if we add 23 and 23 and 25 and 25, we get a perimeter of 96 feet. Now the area, okay? Let's do the area. Area is base times height. Base times height. All right. So our base is 23 and our height is 24. Okay, that's the height from the bottom to the top, from base to base. Okay. Simply multiply those together. Pretty easy, right? 23 times 24 equals 552 feet. Hopefully you got that answer. Hopefully. All right, now we're diving into area of triangles. Area of triangles. So we've got a little bit of a different formula, right? If you don't remember, go back to that page, but I've also got it right here. So perimeter again is just the sum of the exterior here. So we've got 19 and 41. All right, and then we're missing something there. Can you figure this out? Maybe you can pause the video and see if you can answer that on your own. All right, then right now we're going to look at the perimeter. The perimeter is 19 plus 41. So 19 plus 41, and then we're missing our last one, so we use this Pythagorean theorem because we've got a right triangle right here. And we say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we've got 27 squared plus 30 squared equals, what is that going to be? Do you know? All right, so you should have found that c is equal to 40.4. And when we add those together, we get a perimeter of 100.4. Okay, let's try the area. Area is pretty similar to area of parallelogram. Area is 1/2 times base times height. All right, see if you can figure that out right now. Give it a try. All right, so we've got a base of 19, and the height from this base to this point right here, the base to the point of 30. So we got that right there. So we do 1/2 times 19 times 30, and we get our answer of 285 square inches. Awesome. Hopefully you got that. If not, maybe double check, try another one. There's some samples there in the textbook if you need to try more. All right, so I've got another triangle here. Let me give you a moment to see if you can find the perimeter and the area of this yellow triangle. All right, so let's kind of go pretty quickly. I'm gonna tap through some of these. We don't know 2 of these sides here, so we actually don't know. We only know 30, so we can't really calculate the perimeter without finding this side and this side. We've got a right triangle here, okay? Got a right triangle. This actually means that this big yellow triangle is a right triangle too. So let's see, we've got our Pythagorean theorem. We can say 5. This is the A. B is right here, okay? And we say b squared equals 10 squared. That's a hypotenuse. So we can see that b is equal to 8.7 after you do a little bit of math. And then you can see a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So now we've got 2 terms. So we found 30, we know 30, and then we know 8.7, 30 and 8.7. So now we're trying to find this hypotenuse right here. 30 squared plus 8.7 squared is going to give us, do the math, come on guys. All right, 31.2, c equals 31.2. So our perimeter is 30 plus 8.7, which we found right up here, and then 31.2, which we found after using the Pythagorean theorem one more time. Total perimeter of 69.9, or right at 70 inches all the way around. Now let's do our area again quickly. Pause the video, take care of that. Okay, base times height times 1/2, we've got that, that's our base, this is our height. Okay, good, you should see the answer there. Alright, so again, we're just kind of looking for the area. We want to find the area of this trapezoid. B is its base, H is its height. So area is 1/2 times B, B1 plus B2 times H. So B1 is, I like to choose B1 as the smaller part of the trapezoid, B2 is the larger side of the trapezoid, and H is the height, that perpendicular line, that little right angle tells us perpendicular line from one base to the other. Okay, that says 12 inches, so, or 12 feet. So we just calculate this pretty quickly. You can see just a little bit of math, and you can get that done. Now, parallelogram, or this is a rhombus, same as a kite. Again, pretty simple. 1 distance, 2 distance, okay, and 1/2. So just pretty easy. We do 1 distance here, 10 times 18, and then divide it by 2, we get 90. Great. See you later.